out here on the frontier, hundreds of miles from Washington, there was a more attitude, I'll say, of it's easier to gain forgiveness than permission. Or actually, maybe more accurately, it's easiest to do what I want rather than not. And one of those individuals, of course, who adopted that attitude was this man, Senator James H. Lane of Kansas. Now, Senator Lane had been an abolitionist for quite a while, a fairly adamant abolitionist. And he'll eventually resign from the Senate to take up the rank of brigadier general in the military. But before that, in late 1861, so again, we're still very early in the war, he started some recruitment efforts for African-American soldiers. And this, of course, without any authorization from the War Department in Washington. And then not long after that, in early 1862, while he was still in the Senate, he proposed a resolution to begin arming African-American men. But he got some, not surprisingly, some opposition to this. And one of the questions that was raised, well, how are you going to arm them? And he said, what I'm going to tell these recruits is that if it's in your power to gain arms from the rebels, take them, and I'll organize you to fight against the traitors. So he was going to adopt any way, shape, or form he could to begin arming these men. There were also those in the Senate and elsewhere, of course, who objected to the idea of African-American men serving as soldiers, whether they could actually handle the responsibilities and the task of operating as a soldier. And what Lane here said was, give them a fair chance. Put arms in their hands, and they will do the balance of the fighting in this war. Well, the official policy in the United States at that point was still against organizing in any way African-American men to fight. But there was no objection from Washington when Lane started to organize in August of 1862, just across the river in Leavenworth, started to organize more formally African-American men into units. And there was an objection from Washington because they had no idea what he was doing. Well, as soon as Washington got wind of this, they sent orders twice to disband the units. And Lane here disobeyed the orders twice because he was going to organize. And of course, this is the unit that would become the 1st Kansas Colored Infantry.